Merry Christmas, everyone. Glad that you're able to join us on our live stream today. We have a Christmas theme going on here, as you can see. A little bit of snow going on here. I'll get rid of the snow over me here. Merry Christmas, like I said, and we're looking forward to going through this live stream with you. We got some really cool things we're going to talk about with regards to your Christmas list. If you have any comments or questions, please put them in the comments area on whatever platform that you're using. We right now are using multiple platforms. And for whatever reason, that's not there. It is. As you can see, we're streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube today. And so if you have any questions or anything like that, go ahead and put them in there. I have Jared monitoring that, and we'll cover off a bunch of stuff. So again, if you have any questions, my name's Gary Robillard. For those who don't know me, welcome to our stream. And if you haven't subscribed or followed, depending upon what platform you're in, go ahead and subscribe. We're going to be posting some videos and not doing live streams. So a few videos over the month of December. We do have a live stream coming up on, I believe it's December 16th, but we'll be doing some other videos. So if you are subscribed to our YouTube channel or follow us on our LinkedIn or Facebook, you will get a notification when these videos come out. And we can kind of go from there. Let's see here. What we're going to do is we're going to be talking about Christmas lists. And over the years, one of the biggest things that I've seen with organizations is they go and spend hours and hours and hours putting a Christmas list together instead of using a database. Like we're using a CRM application that we're going to be using today called Act. And for those of you who aren't familiar with that, you might want to check that out. In this one here, we're going to be creating a list that we can actually use that to be able to either send cards out, letters, emails out for Christmas. But what I've seen over the years is people using like Excel and putting a list together, and they get these Excel sheets from multiple members of the organization, and then an executive assistant usually has to concatenate or collate all of that information together, so they have one Christmas list, and then they have to put it all together and send it out. And there's so much wasted time and so much extra work on everybody's part to make this happen. So we're going to show you an easier way to do that, and just make your life a tad easier, getting these lists out. So what I'm going to talk about today is we're going to talk about creating groups or lists. In Act, they're called groups, but it's your Christmas list, and I'll kind of expound on that. We're going to be talking about email verification. So if you do want to send out an email blast wishing Merry Christmas to all of your clients or a portion of your contacts in your database, you can do that. And then we're going to be talking about how do we distribute this information out through letters, gifts or emails, doing labels, that sort of stuff. So we're going to show you the full gamut on how to make this work. So let's bring Jared in. Jared is going to be he's going to be monitoring any questions that you have. Hey, Jared, how's it going?
It's going good, Gary. Thanks.
Good. And just so you know, as we're going through here, we're going to be working with a demo database. I have to mention this a few times because the YouTube algorithm shut down our Halloween one because it saw personal information in there. It wasn't personal information. It's all fictitious information that we had in there. But we had to strip out a bunch of stuff and add in comments that, hey, this was a demo database. So it must be a new algorithm that they have in there. Any questions or things before we start, Jared?
No, just some nice comments from Scott and Susan Kellett. They were saying we just need to put a Christmas hat next or a Santa hat, and there was some debate about it there, Scott, before we put it on. I said I have one here, I could put it on, so we almost did. Maybe next time when it gets closer to Christmas, we'll do that.
Let's do it on the 16th one. The 16th
Okay.
one, Scott, we'll put on the Santa hats.
There we go.
We'll
Be
and we'll
extra
have other
Christmassy.
few little festive things that we'll add to it as well.
There you go.
All right, that sounds good. Well, let's dive in. Let's go over to the demo. Let's dive into this. All right. So what you see here, this is a demo database. Just clarifying that again. Jared, I'm just going to move you off the screen so we got a little bit of room here.
Sounds good.
For whatever. Okay, there we are. I hit the wrong button. There we go. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through creating groups and lists first. But again, like I mentioned, this is a demo database, so all the information on here is fictitious. This is all just fake information in here, just to clarify that. All right, so what we're going to do is first deal with groups. And groups are a way of managing contacts in your database. Now, depending upon what CRM system you're using, they may be called other things like tags and different filters that you have. In Act, it's really super simple. They're called groups, and they use all the field criteria in your Act database to be able to grab the people who comply with certain fields that you want to use. So if you look at this demo database, I've got personal information, I've got goals, I've got investment strategy. I got all of these fields that I can use to drill down to the people that I want to filter and find to be able to send out lists. Now there is a link in the description below in there that has a link to a video that we did, must have been 6-8 months ago, on groups, and that will go into more details on the group, so you can actually use that to go in and get a little more information. We're going to keep it pretty tight as far as how much we're showing here today. All right, so let's go into the groups, and I've set up, these are just a bunch of test groups and different things that we've messed around with, but I have a Christmas list group here, and I've got it parsed into 4 areas. These are called subgroups. So I've got cards, not so fancy, e-cards, so that would be like an email list, gifts, people maybe want to send out gifts to people. And then I got mailing cards, fancy. So if you want to have some really fancy cards that maybe cost you more money, you can actually have a list for that as well. So I'm going to go up here, first of all, to the cards not so fancy, and I'm going to show you how we pull this information in. So in here, so we're dealing with this cards not so fancy. That's the one we're going to do. And right here, you'll see this add remove contacts. So if we click on that add remove contacts, and I'm going to click on this, you have 2 different types here. You've got static membership, and then you've got what they call dynamic membership. Static membership, you have to manually move them in or move them out. So it's a lot of work. So it's not something that you would normally do, unless maybe the gifts one might be one where you manually move them in or move them out, depending upon what your budget is. But the dynamic one is the one that we recommend that you use because it uses field criteria to do this. So I'm going to pop open the window here. So you can see in here, it's going to do a few things. You've got the contact type, the name of the field, the operator. Operator is what do you want it to do? Is it equal to, if, and, it has different criteria. That's what the operator is. And then you have the value, what do you want it to be. So in here, you can see I've got the first line here is contact type equals to client. So first of all, we're going to send them to the clients. And then at the end of that list, it says and then it says the next line here, primary contact. So there's a field in this database called primary contact equals to true. And then we've got segmentation equals to A and segmentation equals AA. And so we've got some field criteria that we can use for the cards. Now you'll notice in here, there's not one in here that says, hey, you need an email address, because this list isn't going to be used as an email. This is going to be either for printing onto the cards, or it's going to be used for labels, probably. The next one here, let's just close that. And the next one here is e-cards, and we're gonna do that one in a sec. Then I've got gifts, and in this one, the gifts one that we have here, we have basically the same thing. We have AAA clients that have, and this one has email address, and this one is their primary contact, and that they're a client. So what we're looking for is certain syntax information that will grab these fields and put them into this group. If they match the criteria, they're in the group. If they don't match the criteria, they're removed from the group. So if somebody was a AAA on these gifts and they went down to a AA, they would actually get removed out of the list automatically, which makes it really nice. And then mailing cards fancy, again, I was just using different field criteria to do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that with the e-cards. We're going to go into that now. We're going to go over here to add remove contacts. And now typically what I do is if I want to get like a notification and I want to see what is being sent out, I will add myself or maybe a couple of other people that want to monitor this, the emails going out. I may want to add them to the group. So I'm going to add myself to the group here. And I'll just double click. But this is how you manually move them in or move them out. You actually have to go in, find them, double click, move them in, or click on them and use the arrow, move them over, and then they will show up in this list. So I could add a couple of different people in here, but if I want to take them out, I have to manually take them out. So now let's go over to the automatic part of this. And so what we want to do is under contact type, and in your database, it may be called ID status, I think is what we have it called. Let's see if I can find contact type. There we are, contact type. Let's say, now you have these different operators, contains data, does not equals to, does not equal to. So you've got all these different operators that you're going to use. We're going to say equals to, and we're going to choose client, add to list, and then we're going to preview that. So we've got 59 that actually are clients in the list. So now let's go in here and say, okay, I want to make sure they have an email address. So contains data just means, hey, there's data in that particular field. Let's add to list, and let's preview that. And so it's gone down to 44. So there's a few that didn't have email address in their on their contact record, and so you may have somebody hunting and scoping that out to try to get those email addresses. Now, because these are e-cards, I could mess around with this and say just send them to our A clients or our B clients or what have you. But in this case, I'm just going to make sure that they have everything. Now, one of the other things we're going to do, and this is if you're going to do an email blast out, which we're going to show you, you want to make sure that your clients are opted in using Castle consent. Now, this is we'll have to do a video, and there are videos that we've done talking about Castle consent. If you're in Canada, in the U.S., there's the same regulations where you have to make sure that you have approval from the recipients that you can send them out to. So in this database, I've got one called Castle. And this is whether they're opt-in or opt-out. So let's just do this one. Does not contain opt-out. Add to list. Preview. So still 44. So there's nobody opted out. But I use that to make sure that when I'm sending them out, they haven't opted out. And this will make more sense as we go along, because there's other operators that we can actually add in here. But I'm going to show you that when we get to that part. But if this makes sense, adding these things in so that you're kind of filtering it out to make sure that they have an email address, they're not opted out, there's a place where we can track whether they're bounced or not, those sorts of stuff. That just makes it a lot easier. So now I have my email list. So this is the step one. You want to get your list together, your group together, of what you're going to do. And so ask yourself, what is it I'm going to do with this list? Am I going to use this as a mailer? Am I going to use this as I need to do labels, or I want to actually send out a Christmas email? And then set up your groups accordingly. And basically, to set up a new group, you just click on new there, or you can do a subgroup here. Right down here, you can create a subgroup like I've done here underneath, and then you can just pop that out and see all the groups you have under that particular list. Any questions, Jared? Anybody popping in for some questions?
No questions. Susan was saying that she has already got her mailers sent out, which in Act, and it was
nice.
she used the list and labels, and She said it was nice and easy, and they've done a lot of development and try to make it a little bit more, easy and user friendly, which is nice.
Oh, excellent. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll be doing our Christmas, and I'll be talking about this. I'll be sending ours out next week, and we have a few Christmas presents for you guys, which we'll talk
Oh,
about a little bit later.
presents.
Presents, yes. Everybody's getting presents
Those will
this
be
year.
excellent.
All right, so let's carry on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into verifying email, because this one we're going to talk about doing labels, and we're going to show that, but I want to show you about verifying email addresses in here. Now, if you have a paid version of the Act Marketing Automation, and you will get, if you don't have, just reach out to us, and we'll give you a free copy of Campaign Manager, which is what this little button here will show, this campaign results. And this has a bunch of little features in here. In our demo database, you can see I was messing around and I created a couple campaigns just to kind of show you. But it does a bunch of different things. And I'm not going to spend any time on Campaign Manager, but there's some features in here that I want you to see. So first of all, when you're using, oh, and let me just mention this. For those of you who have a paid version, you're getting this free. But those who don't have a paid version, that are just using the basic Act Marketing Automation, Merry Christmas. We'll be sending out an email where you can get that for free as well, and download it and have a subscription for a year at no charge from us. So what we're going to do is this little settings button. What this does is it's going to pop up, and then you can fill in, like I've got, if somebody unsubscribes from my email marketing, it's actually going to go in and it's going to say, oh, okay, if they unsubscribe, go to Castle, the field called Castle, and opt them out. And then what it's going to do is if they bounced, it's going to go to email status and flag that it's being bounced. Now let me show you where those fields are. So let me go back to my contact. Now you may not have this. Again, this is a demo database, and you can always add these fields in. But I've got a field here. There's my Castle consent. I've also got in here, where did they opt in? It was just implied consent or email, something to that effect. And then I have email verify or verification and status. So the email verification comes from one source, and this one here comes from the email status, will come from any bounces or anything like that coming from your email campaigns that you send out from Act Marketing Automation. So let's just go back into the campaign results. So up here, this is the setting. So any of the emails that you send out from Act through Act Marketing Automation, if there's any bounces or unsubscribes, it's going to update those fields automatically for you. You don't have to worry about that. But you do have to have this little add-in to do that. Now, the other thing that this Campaign Manager has, it also has another feature in here called, let me just go to my contact list here for a second here. All right, so you see this email verification. Now, to verify emails, what this is all about is you want to make sure that you keep your domain reputation good. What that means is you don't want to send out an email blast, just, hey, I got all these contacts, I'm sending them out. You may or may not have got consent from them. There's a thing called implied consent. Again, I would watch the video in the link that can go into more detail with that. But you want to make sure that you've cleaned up your data, because people move, and you don't want to get a bunch of bounces. You don't want to get a bunch of unsubscribes if you get those. I just want to make sure that you understand that this is kind of an important piece of this. Now, how you would normally do this, you would export all of your contacts into a service that would actually go through and verify your list, something like Bright Verify. And then you'd export it out, import it into there, run it, export it back out, and then import it back into Act. Way too many steps, too many places where things can go wrong. So we built in an app so that this would actually link with Bright Verify, and it will do all your stuff for you. So I've got mine already set up. So if I go into my tools drop-down menu here, and then I go down here to email verification, I've got settings, and in my settings, I've already got email verification. That's the field that it's going to fill in. And then I've got my what they call API key from Bright Verify, so it knows who I am. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a verify for these particular contacts in here, so you'll see exactly how this works. Again, no export, no import, any of that sort of stuff. I'm just going to go verify. And you can verify by one, the current contact, current lookup, or all contacts. We're just going to say current lookup, verify, and it's going to do 200. And you can see as over here on the right here, you can see it populating down the list here. And if a person doesn't have an email address, it's not verifying, as you can see. So we'll just give it a second here. I guess I should have done a smaller footprint of this. I should have looked up that group that I'm actually sending to. So there's a reason why that we messed that one up is so I could actually discuss that. Make sure that when you're going to do the verification, make sure you look up the group first. Instead of doing your whole database. I've actually had people do this mistake that I just did, where you've go and verify and say, yeah, just do the current lookup, and it's the actual whole database. And if you've got anywhere from 5 to 10,000 or plus records, go have lunch. It's going to take a little while to go through because it's connecting with Bright Verify and checking things out. And you can see for even 200, it takes a little while. So kind of plan for this to kind of go through and run and verify everything. And you'll see in here, there's a lot of invalids in here. So like you can see invalids, that's because they're all fictitious. There's a couple of valid ones in here, like, my email address, and a couple of other ones that we've set up. But it'll tell if they're invalid, and then that way you can just keep all the valid ones out. So we're going to go back to the group, and we're going to use this field then, this verification, to clean this up. So we're going to go back to the group. We're going to go to our e-card list, and then we're going to go into here, and we're going to edit the criteria, and we're going to add in here email verification, and we're going to say does not equal, where are we here? Does not contain invalid. Add to list, preview, and we're down to 18. So these ones are valid and accept. All those are just fine, or if they're blank. All right, so we're all good there. So now what we've done is we've knocked this down. And so when you're going to do that little cleanup that I did with Bright Verify, you'll grab your list, and then you'll just click on the little magnifying glass right there, create the lookup, and then run your Bright Verify or your verification component there. Just a second here. Jared, any questions?
Yeah, no questions right now. But that's kind of it's a cool tool that you have there that can verify all the stuff for you. Yeah, and then doesn't it also with this automation give you statistics too after you do sort of an email campaign?
Yeah, what it'll do is on the campaign, when you're down here under the campaign results, it will actually show you, which is really nice feature. What it'll do is it'll give you a bar chart showing which ones, how many were sent, how many opened, how many clicked, and then down at the bottom here, you've got a list where it'll show bounced, unsubscribed, or complained. It'll show how many clicks, how many opens, what they opened, and the nice thing is you can highlight these and right mouse click, and then you can go to the contacts or the companies. You can actually merge to an Excel file if you wanted to dump that into an Excel file. So it gives you lots of flexibility. The reason we built this is because we didn't like some of the reports that the native Act Marketing Automation had. So we thought, hey, let's build something that we like to look at. Plus, we wanted to add in the link to Bright Verify.
Smart.
All right, so let's move along then. Hang on here. Give me just a sec here. Where is this?
That's the way it goes sometimes. It's always when you're doing a live stream that things start glitching out a little bit.
Just a tad, yeah.
Yep.
All right, here we go. Okay, so we've got our group set up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go into distribution. So we're going to talk about distribution. And what are we going to do in sending these things out? So let's first of all, let's go to any of the card ones. So we're going to grab this. We're going to look them up. We're going to use the magnifying glass, pull them up. And so this is the list that we're going to actually send a Christmas, can be a card, can be a letter. You may want to do labels, that sort of stuff. So first of all, you're going to go right. And if this was like a Christmas letter, you're going to go right, mail merge. Then your little mail merge feature is going to come up. You're going to use the word processor. You're going to go in here. You're going to choose your Christmas, and I don't have one. I'm pretty sure I don't have one in this database. No. So you would have to create a Christmas letter, and there are videos that we have showing you how to create a template, a word template where you can use as a Christmas list, and then you can just pull those in. And then once you finish that, maybe you want to do some labels for your addresses. And so what you would do then is you'd go to File, and you go down here to Print. And in Print, you can do envelopes if you wanted to print on envelopes. If you wanted to print on labels, you can print on labels. Now, if you're a financial advisor and you're using the Advisor, this is the Advisor demo database that we're using here. We actually have Advisor ones that pull in from the mailing label field and pull all of that information in, and you can pull that in here. So if I let me just pick an Avery 51 162, and I said, okay, let's print to this just so you can see what it looks like. And current lookup, that's what I want to pull up, and I want to preview it, and I press OK. And you can see in here, like some of them probably don't have addresses in here, but if I zoom into there, you can see how that looks. So you can see it pulls in the person's name. In this case, it's pulling in both, and puts the address and stuff in there. So that's basically how the labels work. Now, if I was going to use, let's pull in a different group. Let's say these were gifts, and so you want big labels. Let's go look these people up. And we're going to use the same thing. We're going to go to File, Print, and we're going to use a bigger Avery label. And I recommend using Avery labels. Don't try to create your own label and pop in there. You'll take hours and hours and hours to do that, I promise you, because I've done that. So if you can find a label that, they don't have to be Avery, but they have to be Avery compatible. Because there's alignment, both horizontal and vertical alignments. You want to make sure that you're getting those teed up. So I'm going to take this 8663, and I'm just going to edit this so you can see what the label looks like. So that's what the label looks like. So you've got the name of the company, you've got the business address 1 and 2, and then you have these custom ones. Now you could actually put in city, province, postal code as separate fields, but what ACT has done is they've actually created these little custom ones where they've brought them in. So for an example, if you've got the city is larger or smaller than other places, it's going to adjust. And then so if it was something like Vernon, BC, that'll be a certain width. And then if you were going to Mississauga, Ontario, that would expand to be a little bit further out. And what that looks like, if I go over here to report scripts, hang on here. There it is. So it has this little programming in here that says, okay, this is what we're going to do. And it just allows it to collapse and expand as it puts it in. And I wouldn't worry so much about that. But I like to keep the custom ones because it will actually do that for you and just manage that quite well. So that's the labels. And so when we go to do the labels, if I want to print this off and I just want to preview it, and you'll see the size of the labels. So the labels are bigger. And I know I've got some people in here that don't have addresses properly in here, or the way that you would normally do it. But you can see here under Todd Miller, you can see that it's pulling in his old address and stuff in there just perfectly.
Good old Todd Miller.
Todd Miller,
he shows up quite a bit.
He does, yeah. He's in there.
Scott was mentioning that earlier. He noticed that too.
Well, you got to have a go-to guy, right? You got to have a go-to or scapegoat, however you want to use it, right?
Familiar alias, familiar random person.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. All right, so let's. If there's no questions, Jared, then I'm going to jump over to into the. We're going to do an email one. So again, you can do letters, you can do emails, you can print on cards, whatever you do, and just remember, a lot of people don't use the labels in here. If you need labels, don't go and do it in Microsoft and you'll have to export and import contacts to do that. Just do it right inside of Act. Just it's going to make it a lot easier for you. All right, we're going to go over to marketing automation now. And everybody who has a subscription version or subscription of Act has marketing automation, even the basic. And the basic will allow you to send out 2,500 emails a month. And then as you go to the paid tiers, you get way more features and way more emails that you can send out. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to email templates. Now, let me just explain this for those who maybe haven't used the marketing automation yet, and I highly recommend, being Christmas time, if you've got Act, you've got a subscription, use the Act marketing automation. If you need any help getting it set up, reach out to our support team. They'd be happy to give you a hand, give you some pointers. But it's not that super hard. But this will make a big difference for you on sending out your email blasts. And I recommend using it for lots of other things other than Christmas, but because of what we're doing today, let's talk about that. So make sure that you give this a try. So email templates. Email template is just that. It's a framework. So you want to make sure that you understand the difference between an email template and a campaign. A campaign is the actual distribution of information out. The template is a structure that you pull into the campaign to give you, if you want graphics, you want a video, you want whatever, you pull that into the template, and then when you pull that into your campaign, it saves you time recreating it. So for an example, I have several Outlook ones, and if I want to send out an Outlook looking email, I just use my template. I don't have to recreate it each time. So this is something that you're going to want to look at. So I've got a bunch of Christmas templates here. And we're going to go down to this ZZZ Christmas template, or ZZZ if you're in the US. And let's just have a look at what this looks like. Now, this is a full HTML drag and drop with graphics and all of that good stuff. And you'll see here, I've got placeholders for text. You've got the different, these are just placeholders. They're with gobbledygook text, as you can see. But this is what it looks like. Let's just go over here to actions. We're going to go to preview. So this is what this looks like, and you can add whatever you want to it. And if I wanted to look at it from a mobile standpoint, this is what it's going to look like on a mobile device. So you can see this looks really, really good. And if somebody's wants to see a dark preview, not that you would, you can do it that way if you wish. So we'll go back to the desktop and we'll exit out of here. And so you can add whatever you want. We're going to build one from scratch so you get the idea. This has got a lot of little clips and stuff like that to make it look like it does. And by the way, if you would like this template, because the likelihood of you sending an email to somebody else who's on here, sending back and forth is probably slim to none. And so if you would like this template, message me and let me know, hey, Gary, I'd like this template. And you can adjust it however you want. You can see at the bottom here, you can add a logo, you can take the video out, you can add whatever you want in here, and then you can use this to send out to your people. So if you don't want to waste a bunch of time creating a template, you're welcome to have this one. You just let me know. I'll send you a link and some instructions on how to pull it in, and you'd be off to the races. So let's go in and create one from scratch. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a template first, and then we're going to pull it into a campaign. So let's just go into our template, and maybe you want to adjust it each year. So we're going to go new template, and we're going to use, now you don't want to use this one column WYSIWYG. That's what you see is what you get. That is an HTML template. You want to use the blank drag and drop when you're building any templates. They have some other ones in here that you can actually look at, and I'm not sure if they've got a Christmas one in here or not. Oh, they do have some Christmas stuff in here, but they're more like Christmas sales things. So if you're selling stuff, you could use that. But we're going to build one from scratch. So we're going to do a blank one, continue. It's going to ask you what the name of the template is. We'll call this ZZZ hyphen Christmas 2023 test. There we go. And it's going to be drag and drop, and we're just going to press save. And it's going to give us a blank template. Now, in this template, you'll see this is what they call a block, a content block right here. And then below this, you have to have this on, and it doesn't matter which email marketing system, whether you're using MailChimp, Constant Contact, Neen, HubSpot, any of those ones, it's the same thing. You need to have the company name, the company address, and a place for them to unsubscribe. Now, you've probably, like me, have gotten emails from people that don't have an unsubscribe, or they've got it so hidden that you can't unsubscribe, and it gets a little frustrating. And those are the people that will usually get nailed by the Canadian anti-spam legislation, not giving them the ability to opt out. Now, the first thing you do when you get in here, you're going to go to settings, and by default, it's set at 500 pixels. You want to increase that to at least 620. So you don't want to go too much more than 620 if you're doing a mobile device. You'll want to kind of keep it around 620. If you're just sending it and you know people are going to open it on their desktops, then you can go to a higher setting. But in this case, we're going to keep it at 620. And when you click on here, you'll see that the text color natively is kind of a little bit of a shade lighter than black. And I always like to take this and say, no, make that black. Just darken it up a bit. Now we want to put in some blocks. So these are settings. These are some default settings that you have for the system. And then that's the first thing you're going to want to do. Then you're going to want to say roles. Now these roles allow you to drop different types of content in depending upon how you want to structure it. So you can have one big long one like this one here. You can have one where you have a small little piece here, break it down into different sizes. So you can have it into thirds, quarters, you can have it in half. You can break it down into 4 quadrants, even 6 if you need to. So it allows you lots of flexibility on formatting. So I'm just going to bring in another one here, and I'm going to go back to here, and we're going to change the background color for the whole thing, and we're going to make it, let's make it a little bit Christmassy. Green? Jared, what do you think? Green or not red, probably, eh?
Yeah, green or white. Green or white's good.
Or maybe a gray?
Well, it depends what the text you're going to use. So this
yeah,
is all
we're
about
going to use
how you want it,
we're going to use a little green. Let's festive this up.
Yeah.
All right, so there's our background. Again, that's in the settings. And then you can actually have content background that's different if you wish. Well, we're not going to. We're just going to kind of put this right inside of here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to content, and we're going to drag content in here. So first of all, we may want to have, let's do an image right at the top. So we're going to do an image at the top. Then what we want to do is we want to put some, and now the reason of having these separate sometimes is to give you control on how you want to manage the content that's going into these roles. So I'm going to keep this really simple. We're going to take some text. We're going to put that underneath the image. We're going to, and I could go back into here and say, let's make this stuff, let's make this gray. And so you can see how that will gray it instead of the green. Let's make that white. All right. So then we've got a picture up here. We've got text here. Let's do a quick video in the center. Maybe this is our favorite Christmas video we want to share. And then maybe what we want to do is some more text at the bottom where we're going to put our logo. Actually, let's take that one out. Let's turf that one. We're going to put a different role where we're going to put our signature line down at the bottom. So now we've got a structure. Oh, Let's say an image here, and we're going to put some text here. So basically, you just drag and drop everything where you want to put it. So we're not going to finish this off, or we're just going to kind of go so far with this, but let's go with an image. Let's go to browse, and then you're going to have all your different images, and you can see we've been pulling stuff into ours. Lots of different things that you can pull in, but I'm going to go and search for it. We have a little search thing, and it's going to go and search a bunch of different free images that you can grab from there. So let's just type in Christmas and see what we get. Did I spell Christmas wrong? Oh, there it is. It's just slow. All right, so then you can kind of go through, try to find something that you want to use. And you've got, like you can see, there's tons of different ones. What's this one here? Let's import this one. Let's see what that is. And because we're live and stuff like that, the internet's going to be a little bit slow. So let's insert. Yeah, okay, we can use that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add effects. So over on the right-hand side, we're going to add effects. And it's going to bring up that image. And then what we want to do is let's just crop this a little bit. And bring it about here. And then we're going to say apply. And then we're going to add some text. And we're going to add in, there's our text. We're going to change it to, let's use Pacifico. And let's change the color to white. And then we're going to just double click and then type in Merry Christmas to all. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply that and then grab that, move it over here and make it a little bit bigger. And then we're going to save. So now we've got our little header for this Christmas email that's going to go out. And now we can put in our content. So in here, again, if you click on the frame here, you can see that this is using a grayer one. So I'm going to make that black. I'm going to make this one black. I'm just going in and changing them. And unfortunately, at least as far as I understand, you can't change the content in there. Or the default to being a black as opposed to a gray. So I'm going to go in here, high, and then in here you can see I can change the font size and all the different things in here. And you have merge tags that allow us to pull in, and I'm going to go all the way to the bottom, zip right down here to salutation. It's a little bit further.
Yeah, and with the merge tag, it just will populate whenever you're doing an email campaign, the first person's name of that contact. So it'll just pull whatever in. So you don't need to add like the person's name or anything. It just pulls it. So it'll make it look good for you. You can always do a test too before you send it out, and it'll show the right person's name just so that
exactly.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. It just saves you time, and it's just so it populates all the custom personalized stuff from different people in your contacts.
Exactly.
What you want to pull in.
Yeah. So, and we can also, and I'm just grabbing a video here really quick. You can also do this on the subject line as well, which is really cool. So I'm just going to grab this. Okay.
Yeah, it's neat what they can do. You can even add little, what they call Giphies or whatever, little GIFs, so you can spice up your newsletter, or even just sort of like a report or something. There's just little creative things you can do to make it a little more entertaining and
yeah. So I'm going to add in this URL here that I just grabbed off of there. So there's some jazz music. Christmas jazz music that we'll put in here. Jared mentioned a Giphy, so we're actually gonna change this. We're gonna actually
just had one question from Susan. She was asking, so it pulls from the salutation field in Act. Is that correct? Yeah, and that's correct. And
Yeah.
there's a whole bunch of different merge tags. You can pull in the address, you can pull in all sorts of whatever fields that they have sort of on the contact record or whatever record you can pull in, and it's um, yeah, you just add that into the letter and it pull that information when you send off the email campaign, which is kind of
Right.
nice.
Okay, so we're gonna put a GIF in there, and so it's gonna load up, and we're gonna throw an animated GIF in there. Now, unfortunately,
Make
at
it
least
fun.
at this point, I'm not aware that you can actually import your own, like create and import your own GIFs at this point.
Yeah, well, it's using Giphy, that's like the biggest guy out there for, as far as I know, unless somebody knows a bigger one for GIFs. So it has all the stuff in there that you would probably need, which is nice.
Now, my grandkids like the minions.
Oh,
We put
minions.
the minions in there.
Yep.
So you can see here where you can get pretty darn creative on
Yeah.
what you want to do here. It's totally up to you how you want to play with this, and it's actually a lot of fun. You can sit in here and you can spend a lot of time. But if you don't want to spend any time, you ask me for that template and I'll send it to you. But again, you can see all the different kinds of content that you can put in here: GIFs, videos, icons, social media, all sorts of different things. Buttons, if you want them to click on a button to get something or what have you. You have tons of flexibility. Once you're all finished your template, then you're going to save your template.
Important to save it just because then you can import it later. So let's say you have an email campaign where you're reminding people about it, but you want to use the same sort of graphics or the same layout that you did the first one. You can just import the first one template and then tweak it as your, whatever it's a reminder for, last chance for some sort of deal you have or something else, but it'll use the same layout from the original one. So it's good to save different templates. So that it saves you time having to copy and get everything exactly how you had it on the first one,
All
for
right, so
example.
what we're going to do now is we're going to go new campaign. Now, campaign is how we actually send this off. So we're going to do a blank campaign. We're going to go continue. We're going to give it a name, and let's just call this the same thing. Hang on here, my mouse isn't. Oh, there we are.
A lot of stuff you can edit after. It's more just if you activate the campaign, it's kind of set, and so you can come back later if you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't like that campaign name, or oh, I don't like the name of this particular email I sent out. I'm going to change that later. You can change it as long as you haven't really activated it. It's all of it's very changeable. It's not set in
Updatable.
stone, so
Yeah.
which is good.
So here now, this is where we pull in the group, and they actually they have it labeled as groups, and then they actually say that it's a list. It doesn't really matter. You know what it is. So you can go in here now to where your Christmas list is, and so there's your e-cards. There it is. You can choose that. I'm not going to choose that. I'm just going to go down here and do my test here. Just in case, because I have in the past, by mistake, clicked activate and had it go out, and that wasn't a good thing. So I'm just going to use one that I'm going to actually send up here. So we're going to create this. It's going to create our template, and once it's created the template, it's really, really simple. Or once it's created the campaign, it's really simple to pull our template in. So it pulls it in. Basically, we have the start, we've got the end, and then this is the email that's going to go out. And in this particular line where it says instant, as soon as you activate it, it will send out right away. Or if you click on the line, you can go in here and say, I want it to send out at a specific date and a specific time. And so this allows you to be specific on when you want to do it. And if you don't want it sent on a weekend, you can have it only sent on work days. Now we're going to dive into the email here, and we're going to go and edit this email. So there are a few little choices. You have less choices when you have the basic version of the Act Marketing Automation. I have the big one, the full version. So I have everything but the kitchen sink in mine. So we're just going to go down and edit this template. Then what we're going to do is once this comes up, it comes up with a very generic template structure. Now we're going to just blow that away. We're going to go, now you can import from templates, and those are those 170 some odd ones that Act has designed and threw in there. I usually don't use those. I'm just going to pull in from my templates, and I'm going to go in here, and I think it was ZZZ. Yeah,
Yeah.
there it is. Christmas. I'm going to import that in. And there's my template. I can make some final adjustments like go in here and add some more content in here, change the video. Typically on the template, you wouldn't have the URL already in there. I just showed you how to do that by clicking on here. You could actually change that URL and put something else in there. Same with the Giphy. You could actually go and remove that, put a picture in there, put your signature line in here, kind of do whatever you want. I would never send this one out. This looks way too, yeah, this wouldn't be what I would send out, but all I was trying to do is show you that you can change a ton of different things in here to have it do what you want it to do. Once you're happy with all the content, so let's add some more blah, blah, blahs in here, right? And you do also, one of the things they've added in here, and you should be aware of this, and we've been using this in ours, so I'm going to do this right up here. Okay, Minion, you're out of here. You're out of here, dude. So there's another thing that you can add in here. You can see up here, you can actually have, you can use different things like icons. So when you click on your icons, you can actually put in and type in Christmas. Put a Santa Claus in there. Now it's going to put whatever font you have in here. So what I usually do is I'll take any of the icons or emojis, and I'm going to actually, bring it up to like 20 points so it sticks out a little bit more. So it's a little bit larger. So if you do the emojis, then you're going to want to increase the size of those. So once you've got this all done, just make sure you save. And then the last thing you're going to want to do before you decide to send out, you're going to have to go into properties. And there's two things that you need to do in properties. The first one is give this a name. So I'm just going to call this test 2023, not 22. Okay, way too much. There we go. And then the subject line. Now, the two important things that you need to be concerned about when you're sending out an email is what's in the subject line. You want it to be a clickable subject line, meaning that whatever you put in there is invoked or hooked the person to say, hey, I'm interested, but let's see what that is. So first of all, I'm going to go in here and go, hey, or hello, and then I'm going to go and do a merge field, and I'm going to go grab that salutation again.
So then the email will have it could have their name right in it. It could be like, hello, Bob. Check out this email or whatever you wanted to say.
The more
Christmas
personalized,
is around the corner.
yeah, the more personalized you can make it, the better it's going to be for the person. It's going to be more clickable. Now, there's some debate over that, but I have found over the testing over the years that I've done this, the more I can make this personal, the better it's going to be for the end person. So now you have to come up with what you want to say. You can use GPT chat or any AI to say, hey, give me a really catchy or hookable subject line for my email blast. And it'll give you a bunch of different ones. Or you can, if you're a wordsmith, go ahead and do your own. Come up with your own little thing. So I'm just going to say, not Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Let's go ... I have a gift for you! ! Now, if that doesn't hook them, what will, right? Now, the only other thing that you will want to do, so you've got the name, because this is what's going to flag when you do because you may have multiple emails, so you want to be able to, this is what's going to flag in the campaign results, or it's going to actually show in any of the reports what was actually sent out. So name is important, whatever you call that. You need to have a good subject line. And then the last thing, if you've got one of the paid versions, you have the ability to change your unsubscribe list. For those with a basic, it's just, do you want to unsubscribe? They click it, they go yes, and they're unsubscribed from everything. In mine, I've got an CLX or CoreLogic's unsubscribe list, and it gives them options. Do you want to unsubscribe from just this or that, or do you want to unsubscribe from all? So it has multiple things that they can choose from. They don't have to unsubscribe from everything, and that's one of the reasons I like the paid version, because it doesn't just unsubscribe them from everything. They can choose what they want to be unsubscribed from, and then press update when you've got that all set up. I recommend once you've got everything set up, run a test. So click on test. You can send it off to yourself. Pick an email address. You can send it off to multiple people. So if I wanted to send this to Jared, I can just add as many people I want to send a test to, press test, and that will send it off to them. Once you've received it and you're happy, away you go. You may also want to go into preview and look at it this way. Definitely that lime green's not, it would have to go. And then you can also test it on your mobile device just to see, and it's taken all the side stuff out. That's why we have it set at 620 pixels, and then they can see exactly what it's going to look like on the mobile as well, and then exit out of there. And then once you're happy with it, you're ready to pull that trigger, then you're going to go up here and go to actions. You're going to go down here, sorry, not actions. You're going to go down, actions, and then return. Sorry, I just want to get back to here. So once you're over to here, then you're going to go over here to activate, actions, activation. It's going to pop up, and as long as you have a green check mark, meaning you're compliant with the unsubscribe and the address stuff and everything looks good, it's going to give you a green check mark. Then you just press activate, and then bang, away it's going to go into the queue and send all of that information out to your list. All right, I think we've covered. Anything else?
No more questions. But yeah, it's a powerful tool, and you can do a lot of your own marketing yourself. You don't have to hire it out if you wanted to. Customize it yourself, and do all that just right in Act. Saves you time.
So the big thing, I think the big takeaway, Jared, is well, what do you want to do? You're going to create a Christmas list. What are those lists for? Create multiple lists if you want, like we had, for different things. I'm going to send out a letter for some people. I want to do labels because I'm doing gifts for other people. And then for everybody, they're going to get a Christmas e-card. Some people will get maybe a real card. You choose how you want to do that. But this whole idea of being able to touch base with your clients on a regular basis is so important. And I think going into the new year, as you're planning for the new year, is, how can I touch base with my clients on a regular basis just to say, hey, and it can be little things like an email blast that says, hey, did you know about, or in this case, Merry Christmas. And just let them know that you're still there and you care. And then once you've decided what you want to use the list for, I highly recommend using the e-marketing. I mean, for those who have the Act CRM, definitely use it. It's there. It's part of what you've got. For those who are using a different CRM system, you may have to use a third party, something like MailChimp or Constant Contact or Aweber or a bunch of others that are out there. But I would suggest that for those who have the full thing that we have with Act, you've got it all there, and it's easier than any other e-marketing system that I've used. Oh, by the way, and I forgot to mention this, there is for the month of. I think it's a couple of weeks in December here, and I think it starts next week. We're going to give you 25% off any paid versions of the Act Marketing Automation if you want to upgrade. So we'll give you 25% off of that. And we've got some. You'll be getting some email blasts with some free software. Merry Christmas, ho ho ho, from us at CoreLogics. So we're going to be sending out some stuff. And again, if you've got, we'll send out if you've got, if you don't have a campaign manager, so that you have those features of verifying the email and stuff. We'll make sure that you get that, so that you will be able to make sure that your database is up to speed with regards to any kind of marketing you're going to do. Any other questions, Jared, or any comments that you want to make at the end here?
Yeah, no other questions. No, thanks, Gary, for showing us that. It's definitely a cool tool that you can use. It's just you got to get familiar with it, and know what you're doing with it, and it just takes a little bit of practice, but it's pretty straightforward. And then it's just another thing you can do. You can have sort of a marketing sort of plan that you have for the year. Okay, we want to do one email or email blast a month. You want to just have Christmas lists. You can set up kind of how you want to do it, have all the campaigns in there, plan it out for the year, and then you can edit it as you go. But it's nice to have a little bit of a plan. And the nice thing about the Act Marketing Automation, you can have it all there, and you can have it all in one, and you can import everything in, and it's all ready to go. And you can save your template, so you don't have to go find it someplace else. It'll all be there, and then you can just go from there, personalize it, and gives you all the statistics after too of how many people opened it, and
exactly.
So if your marketing is working, because sometimes people aren't opening the emails, and you don't know if they got it, and
very true,
and we're clicking it, so it helps.
And one of the other thing, one of the things that we're going to be doing in the new year is we'll be actually going through, how to communicate with your clients using marketing automation and some best practices and stuff. So we'll do some deep dives into that and clarify some of the things that Jared's just brought up. Jared has just been starting to use the marketing automation for some of the stuff that we've been doing. He's been taking some of the stuff off my plate and helping me out with that. And so, I think he's finding it quite easy to use. And, I think it's a short learning curve compared to some of the other ones that are out there for sure. And we most definitely like it. Anyways, thank you so much for your time, everyone. Really appreciate you showing up today and spending some time with us. I hope you have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend. And we'll catch you on the next live stream or video, whatever comes first. Thanks very much, everyone. Bye for now. Thanks, Jared.
You bet.